Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Spring 2021 Student Assistant Update. Due to COVID and everything going virtual this semester, I've opted to do an asynchronous webinar type meeting. At the very last slide, I will give information on how you can be paid for your quote unquote attendance to this meeting. Now, this is the agenda for today's update. We have the contents. The first thing we're going to talk about is new items, which will include COVID procedures, semester changes, and future library projects. The second on the agenda is reminders of particularly of policy and procedures. Okay, under new items, the first thing we're going to talk about is COVID procedures. One thing that must be maintained for COVID procedures, I'll also cover other procedures as well. First of all is the cleaning procedure. And from because of everything is still the way that it is, we're going to continue on sanitizing the computer lab. Though I know the night shift does this every hour. We have to maintain this same procedure during the day shift as well, which is sanitizing the computer lab every hour. Now, I know that that can be kind of bothersome, especially when we run out of cleaning materials so easy, but continue to do so. Uh, and if we run out of anything, just let your supervisor, whoever the librarian or supervisor on duty, know that we have run out so that way we can keep a continuous supply at the desk. We also want to sanitize frequently touched surfaces. What The things that will be sanitized regularly along with the computer lab should be the reference computer that's by the circulation desk, the self-check machines, the entryway doors. Are These are areas that are touched most often, and so they have to be cleaned most often. We could lump those in along with the computer lab as being something that needs to be done every hour. And also along with that, we need to continue on cleaning study rooms after use. I know that recently we have laxed on that, but we need to continue to do that just as vigorously and as frequently as we did last semester. Along with other COVID procedures that we want to continue to maintain, we also want you to continue on wearing your mask while at the desk, having students and patrons, when they come up to the front desk, to use the clear face shield, the shield, when they come to talk to you at the desk. For right now, we're still going to uh, hole punch items for them and also use the pencil sharpener for right now. If there's any changes, we'll let you know. Also, try to maintain your 6 feet social distance, to maintain social distance between you as well as others at the desk, other student assistants and staff, as well as with patrons. But remember, as the president of the university had said, though we may be socially distanced, we are physically distanced but socially engaged. So you can still help patrons and you can still engage with them, but keep distance away, especially with new things coming out these days, because there's new variants of COVID in which it's far more contagious than it was before. And though I haven't heard any reports as of this recording of any of that happening in Oklahoma, we still are in, and infections have gone down, but we're still not out of the clear. So continue to maintain those COVID guidelines, not only as specified by me, but also by the university. This section is semester changes, and one of those changes is that the DML will be temporarily absorbed into circulation. Jay Scholes, the assessment librarian, is currently on a family sick leave and may be out until the end of March, possibly until April. We're not sure. But for right now, we know that he is not there. So, uh, for the DML students, we want you guys to do the check ins and the check out properly. Basically, what I mean by that is that in the past, we have had items, small items, have gone missing from the checkout kits, from the cameras and the tripods and whatnot. Even SD cards have turned up missing. So when you do the check out, we want you guys to go through the checklist meticulously. Like each thing, even if you have to take the kits apart, I want you to go through and make sure everything is in that kit. And when it's returned, we want you to do the same thing upon its return. And tell the student immediately if it is not there. If you have come across anything or have any questions, please feel free to contact me or Bill, and we will gladly help and assist you with that. Um, for 3D printing requests, uh, we are seriously restricting 3D prints. We're not doing large jobs, first of all. Uh, Smaller things, maybe a centimeter or so big, maybe a little bit bigger than that. We're also going to restrict prints to academic purposes only, which means a student who needs to make a print request for a class has to give us a signed letter by that professor. Once you've received that we receive that letter from the professor, give it to the supervisor, and the supervisor has to verify that request. And that may take a day or so to get a verification from that request. Also, the phones in the DML as well as at the reference desk are being redirected to circulation. So if for CERC students, if anyone needs a reference help or help with research, refer them to a reference librarian, or you can ask the student if they're in front of a computer to do the lib chat on the library webpage. And this librarian should be able to assist them from there. For the DML students, if there's anything regarding the DML and you can help, I will come and get you, and you can answer the question. If it's going to Jay, we can take messages or ask Jay on the WhatsApp. And speaking of the WhatsApp, this semester I would like to implement it for the circulation desk. Starting March 1st, I want all of the CERC students to make sure they have sent me an updated contact information. Along with this PowerPoint, I'll be sending the contact list, and if there's anything out of date or incorrect, let me know so I can have an updated list. From that list, I will create a contact group within the WhatsApp. And you guys can not only contact me anytime, you can also contact each other. So that way, no one has to play phone tag, no one has to play email tag. You can keep in contact with each other better than you were before, especially if you have to talk to each other about switching shifts or anything work related. You can still contact each other. If you have any issues or have any questions about that, please feel free to contact me. Okay, this is the part of the The PowerPoint that I am actually pretty interested in talking about, and you've probably heard me talking about it before. You've also heard a lot of the staff talk about this before. But we do have new and future projects coming up. The big one that is coming up is the library construction. And we were told that it will, by Dr. Kingsley, as well as, ooh, what's his name? Bob Hannafield, who is the director of physical facilities, that the construction would begin sometime around spring break. So we're not sure if that's going to be before spring break or after spring break. It might be before, since according to the academic calendar, we will be closed for spring break in March. From let me check the my calendar. From March 15th through the 21st, which is a whole 7 days, the library will be closed. More than likely, they may start construction, I would think, then. And one day you're going to come in and you can't get in through the front door. That's because they've probably cordoned off the entire front of the building because they're going to tear up everything on the front, which includes room 120, the main entrance, and office 101, which was Wen Chang, the circulation office, which was Wen Chang's old office. Uh, I'm currently in 101, and the rear window that is to the north end of me, which is like behind me, is going to be a giant hole there. So, uh, yeah, it's going to be pretty extensive. We're still light on a lot of the specifics. Like, for instance, are we going to have to move the computer lab? Things like that. But all we're told is it's coming, and it's coming soon. So, with that in mind, one of the first things that's going to happen is they're going to redirect the entrance of the library to the south side of the building. What I mean is, the double emergency doors by the staff lounge. That will be, and there's on the other side of those double doors is another set of double glass doors. They want that to be the temporary entrance to the building. Um, as more details come about that, we will inform you guys. But yeah, you're going to have to come in from where Cetus is to come into the building when construction starts. Um, we're not sure yet if we'll have to post somebody there as a greeter, or, you know, to basically monitor the entrance, because we got to redirect the security cameras. We have to move the alarm system to that end of the building. Uh, the When they move the security cameras, they will also want to put a monitor at the front desk so that way we can still watch the door from where we are. I had suggested that we move the circ desk back. Well, a lot of you weren't here over a decade ago, but 115, the study area, that that's tile, and where the newspapers and whatnot is, that a long time ago used to be the circulation desk. And I wanted to have the circulation desk moved over next to the stairwell. But I don't know if they're going to do that or not. So, but time will tell, to be honest. So, I will keep you guys updated as more details become available. The second thing on the new items is the inventory and shelf reading list. So every semester, we pretty much for the last few semesters have been doing an inventory list, which acts as our shelf reading list. That list is located in that desk area between me and Bill, and it's on a clipboard, and it's a big, thick clipboard filled with paper on it that has a list of books and call numbers and titles. So when we have slow times at the desk where we have two people at the desk and you want to go upstairs and do something, we have an inventory list. So it's pretty straightforward if any of you have ever done an inventory before. You go through the list, you find the books on the list and the books on the shelf should sync up in proper call number order. If they do not, if they're out of order, you put next to the book that was out of order, you put MS as in misshelved and put that book back in order. If the book is not there, then you put NOS is not on shelf. Then you would give that book back to give the list when you've done, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, back to put it back on the shelf. I'm sorry, there's a loud buzzing noise in this room. Uh, put the list back where you found it, and Bill will go through the list and to make sure that it's properly done. Hopefully, we want to reduce the whole going back and forth with the list. That's why you should take your time and do this. This isn't something you should just rush through. That's why you can have up to 30 minutes or even an hour to work on that list. Where what we want is for the books to be all books accounted for and books to be in proper order. So taking your time and doing the list right would be very helpful to us. Okay, so now we're in the policy and procedures section. So one of the things starting off, we want you guys to double check everything before reshelving. Uh, if it's going on the shelf, it doesn't matter what it is, DML, circulating items, it must be checked in first before it's reshelved. This also want to remind you guys that for textbooks, please put them back into copy number order. So uh, put it in order: one, two, copy one, copy two, copy three. Don't put copy three in front of copy one, or put copy two in front of behind copy five. Keep it in order. Also, we want you guys to refamiliarize yourselves with the checkout policy with special emphasis on the ID policy. This is mostly geared toward circulating items such as laptops and Chromebooks. Um, you should also be doing this for books and other material. The only time you don't have to verify a person's ID is if they're checking out a study room. So for the verifying their identification, they should have a state issued ID if they do not have their Cameron ID, such as a state ID, a driver's license, or a military ID. When verifying their information in Sierra, do not give them any information. For instance, don't tell them their address. You ask for their address and then tell it to them. Don't do that. You want them to tell you the information. You don't tell them. So, and if they don't have any of that information in the system, please ask the supervisor and we can make a note in their account that says to verify to verify their address. And if they don't have an address in the system, we can verify their phone number or we can use their email. But if they have nothing, uh, they can't check out any items. And if need be, please feel free to get a supervisor to assist you on that. Also, you should familiarize yourself with general circulation policy. That just means anything in circulation, like the opening and closing procedures, for instance. We keep a standard operating procedures or SOP at the circulation desk. If you're not sure about how to do something, I would say check there first. And if you still don't understand it or it's something that isn't made clear within the SOP, then you can come get your supervisor and we can go through it together. Um, either I or Bill or Chris or Brandon can go through the policy and procedure, and we can tell you how it can be done. Also, we want you guys to familiarize yourself with how to transfer calls. As stated earlier, with DML and reference now, phones now being sent to calls rather have been sent to circulation, you may have to do a bit of transferring. And as a quick refresher on how to transfer calls, it is actually remarkably simple. It's probably why people tend to mess it up, is because it is simple. Well, when someone calls and they want to talk to somebody in another department or someone within the library department, first tell them that you're going to transfer them. If you're looking for in library extension numbers, there is a sheet right by the phone in yellow paper. It has everyone's extension numbers, as well as some other extension numbers, such as public safety, the Duncan campus. I think there's one for the testing center. I'm not sure. Or even academic commons. Most of that information is somewhere near the phone. And if you cannot find it there, or it's not that easy, maybe it's something that's not on that list, I also keep a directory right by my phone. It's for the entire campus. Feel free to go through the directory and look up the information for who the person wants to contact. You can also find that information off the library website. Just type in, go to the search bar and on the library website and type in what you're looking for, and departments extensions will pop up on the search. Also, once you're done finding that information, tell them what number you're transferring them to, just in case you get disconnected. For instance, for example, you say, I am going to transfer you to so and so. In case we get disconnected, the number is 581 yada yada yada. All phones on campus begin with the prefix of 581. So, if it's not 581, then it's likely not on campus. Once you have the extension and you told them what it is, hit the transfer button, then type in the 4-digit extension. On the screen on the Mitel phone that's used at the circ desk, it will tell you, a screen will pop up that says transfer complete. Once you see that, you just hang up the phone. Then the call is transferred. You don't have to do anything else. If you have any problems or want to see more of a demonstration on how, a in-person demonstration on how to transfer calls, please feel free to talk to either me or Bill or any of the librarians or circ staff, and we can help you. Okay, one other thing we want you guys to refamiliarize yourself with is ILL procedures. Because of COVID, ILL has drastically reduced. But we still are very slowly sending out and receiving ILL material. So, for the checkout of ILL material, there should be a drawer at the very rear of the circulation desk that says ILL pickup. If a patron is looking for an ILL object, like a book or a video, get their ID card, and then go to the drawer, verify their name with their name on the item. Once you found the correct item, take out the white checkout slip, which should be with it. Have the patron sign and date the slip. Then hand them the item. You take the slip and put it in a little box in the drawer, in the pickup drawer, that says checkout slips. That's it. Chris will come and collect the slip. He usually checks that drawer 3 or 4 times a day. For the check in or returns, the person will tell you this is an ILL book. It usually has a white dust jacket in front of the book. Don't remove it. Keep that slip on the book. Also, other indicators is that it may not be our book. It may have a tags that don't register in Sierra, and also they may have um, stamps on it from another library. In case, just this is just in case someone returns the item and it doesn't have the white slip in front of the book, because ILL books are not our books. And they won't scan in Sierra. So if it doesn't, then it's a possibility it is ILL. Once an item has been returned, go to the drawer that says return, place the item in the drawer, and that is it. You don't have to do anything else. Like the phone transfer, if you have any questions with anything or want to see how it's done in person, please feel free to contact your supervisor and we will go through the procedure with you. Also, due to COVID, how things are these days, I know it's hard to greet patrons properly when wearing a mask. So, when patrons, instead of looking down at your computer screens or your laptop screens, whenever you hear the door open, try to make eye contact or give a friendly nod, just to let patrons know that you have acknowledged them. Thank you for taking the time to view and listen